Krishna, my dear devotees. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, right here in the Haven, which is in Hythe, Kent, southeast England, just a stone's throw from the English Channel. We have honored guests today, Adalni Thai Prabhu and his better half, Radhananda Devidasi, Hare Krishna. So good. And we got to share with them just how good a cook Abhaya Das Brahmachari is. And he outdid himself. As we all unanimously agreed. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Hiva Stotram by Srila Krishna, Srila Sanatana Goswami. See, I'm intoxicated by that prasadam. I wonder if I'm going to be able to read. If I start to slur my words, I promise you I didn't take any intoxicants. I promise you. I've got witnesses, 3 other witnesses. Prasadam was so good. Oh, Krishna. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Mahima Stotram by Srila Sanatana Goswami describes the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and glorifies in a very nice way. It goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems, of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Purāṇa Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Prabho Kali Dvandoditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Savasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madhika Bando Matsangin Madguro Mad Mahadana Mad Nistadaka Mad Bhagya Mad Anandana Mostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin atini chochata kada hanamuncha kadachin mam premnarit kantayokspura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we've reached the 28th chapter of the 3rd canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Kapila's instructions on the execution of devotional service. Beginning with text 19. Thus, always merged in devotional service, the yogi visualizes the Lord standing, moving, lying down, or sitting within him. For the pastimes of the Supreme Lord are always beautiful and attractive. Purport. The process of meditating on the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within oneself, and the process of chanting the glories and pastimes of the Lord are the same. The only difference is that hearing and fixing the mind on the pastimes of the Lord is easier than visualizing the form of the Lord within one's heart. Because as soon as one begins to think of the Lord, especially in this age, the mind becomes disturbed. And due to so much agitation, the process of seeing the Lord within the mind is interrupted. When there is sound vibrated, praising the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, however, one is forced to hear. That hearing process enters the mind, enters into the mind, and the practice of yoga is automatically performed. For example, even a child can hear and derive the benefit of meditating on the pastimes of the Lord simply by listening to a reading from the Bhāgavatam that describes the Lord as he is going to the pasturing ground with his cows and friends. Hearing includes applying the mind. In this age of, I'll read that again. Hearing includes applying the mind. In this age of Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya has recommended that one should always engage in hearing and chanting Bhagavad Gita. The Lord also says that the Mahatmas, or great souls, always engage in the process of chanting the glories of the Lord, and just by hearing, others derive the same benefit. Yoga necessitates meditation on the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, whether he is standing, moving, lying down, and so on. Text 20. In fixing his mind on the eternal form of the Lord, the yogi should not take a collective view of all the limbs, but should fix the mind on each individual limb of the Lord. Purport. The word muni is very significant. Muni means one who is very expert in mental speculation, or in thinking, feeling, and willing. He is not mentioned here as a devotee or yogi. Those who try to meditate on the form of the Lord are called munis, or less intelligent, whereas those who render actual service to the Lord are called bhakti yogis. The thought process described below is for the education of the muni. In order to convince the yogi that the absolute truth, or Supreme Personality of Godhead, is never impersonal at any time, the following verses prescribed observing the Lord in his personal form, limb after limb. To think of the Lord as a whole may sometimes be impersonal. Therefore it is recommended here that one first think of his lotus feet, then his ankles, then the thighs, then the waist, then the chest, then the neck, then the face, and so on. One should begin from the lotus feet and gradually rise to the upper limbs of the transcendental body of the Lord. Text 21. The devotee should first concentrate his mind on the Lord's lotus feet, which are adorned with the marks of a thunderbolt, a goad, a banner, and a lotus. The splendor of their beautiful ruby nails resembles the orb of the moon and dispels the thick gloom of one's heart. Purport. The Mayavadi says that because one is unable to fix his mind on the impersonal existence of the absolute truth, one can imagine any form he likes and fix his mind on that imaginary form. But such a process is not recommended here. Imagination is always imagination and results only in further imagination. A concrete description of the eternal form of the Lord is given here The Lord's soul is depicted with distinctive lines, resembling a thunderbolt, a flag, a lotus flower, and a goad. The luster of his toenails, which are brilliantly prominent, resembles the light of the moon. If a yogi looks upon the marks of the Lord's soul and on the blazing brilliance of his nails, then he can be freed from the darkness of ignorance in material existence. This liberation is not achieved by mental speculation, but by seeing the light emanating from the lustrous toenails of the Lord. In other words, one has to fix his mind first on the lotus feet of the Lord if he wants to be freed from the darkness of ignorance in material existence. Text 22. The blessed Lord Shiva becomes all the more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganges, which has its source in the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord's feet act like thunderbolts hurled to shatter the mountain of sin stored in the mind of the meditating devotee. One should therefore meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time. Purport. In this verse, the position of Lord Shiva is specifically mentioned. The impersonalist suggests that the Absolute Truth has no form, and that one can therefore equally imagine the form of Vishnu or Lord Shiva, or the goddess Durga, or their son Ganesh. But actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Master of everyone. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 5, 142, it is said, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, and everyone else, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, not to speak of other demigods, is a servant of Krishna. The same principle is described here. Lord Shiva is important because he is holding on his head the holy Ganges water, which has its origin in the foot wash of Lord Vishnu. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami, it is said that anyone who puts the Supreme Lord and the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, on the same level, at once becomes a Pashandi, or atheist. One should never consider that the Supreme Lord Vishnu and the demigods are on an equal footing. Another significant point of this verse is that the mind of the conditioned soul, on account of its association with the material energy from time immemorial, contains heaps of dirt in the form of desires to lord it over material nature. This dirt is like a mountain, but a mountain can be shattered when hit by a thunderbolt. Meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord acts like a thunderbolt on the mountain of dirt in the mind of the yogi. If a yogi wants to shatter the mountain of dirt in his mind, he should concentrate on the lotus feet of the Lord and not imagine something void or impersonal. Because the dirt has accumulated like a solid mountain, one must meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for quite a long time. For one who is accustomed to thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord constantly, however, it is a different matter. The devotees are so fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord that they do not think of anything else. Those who practice the yoga system must meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time after following the regulative principles and thereby controlling the senses. It is specifically mentioned here, Bhagavatas Charanara Vindam. One has to think of the lotus feet of the Lord. The Mayavadis imagine that one can think of the lotus feet of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or the goddess Durga to achieve liberation. But this is not so. Bhāgavata is specifically mentioned. Bhāgavata means of the Supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and no one else. Another significant phrase in this verse is Shiva, Shivobhut. By his constitutional position, Lord Shiva is always great and auspicious. But since he has accepted on his head the Ganges water, which emanated from the lotus feet of the Lord, he has become even more auspicious and important. The stress is on the lotus feet of the Lord. A relationship with the lotus feet of the Lord can even enhance the importance of Lord Shiva. What to speak of other ordinary living entities? Text 23. The yogi should fix in his heart the activities of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by all demigods and is the mother of the Supreme Person Brahma. She can always be found massaging the legs and thighs of the Transcendental Lord, very carefully serving him in this way. Purport. Brahma is the appointed Lord of the universe. Because his father is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is automatically his mother. Lakshmiji is worshipped by all demigods and by the inhabitants of other planets as well. Human beings are also eager to receive favor from the goddess of fortune. Lakshmi is always engaged in massaging the legs and thighs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, who is lying on the ocean of Garbha within the universe. Brahma is described here as the son of the goddess of fortune, but actually he was not born of her womb. Brahma takes his birth from the abdomen of the Lord himself. A lotus flower grows from the abdomen of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Brahma is born there. Therefore, Lakshmiji's massaging of the thighs of the Lord should not be taken as the behavior of an ordinary wife. The Lord is transcendental to the behavior of the ordinary male and female. The word abhavasya is very significant, for it indicates that he could produce Brahma without the assistance of the goddess of fortune. Since transcendental behavior is different from mundane behavior, it should not be taken that the Lord receives services from his wife just as a demigod or human being might receive service from his wife. It is advised here that the yogi always keep this picture in his heart. The devotee always thinks of this relationship between Lakshmi and Narayana. Therefore, he does not meditate on the mental plane as impersonalists and voidists do. Bhava means one who accepts a material body, and abhava means one who does not accept a material body, but descends in the original spiritual body. Lord Narayana is not born of anything material. Matter is generated from matter, but he is not born of matter. Brahma is born after the creation. But since the Lord existed before the creation, the Lord has no material body. Text 24. Next, the yogi should fix his mind in meditation on the personality of Godhead's thighs, the storehouse of all energy. The Lord's thighs are whitish blue. The Lord's thighs are whitish blue, like the luster of the linseed flower, and appear most graceful when the Lord is carried on the shoulders of Garuda. Also, the yogi should contemplate his rounded hips, which are encircled by a girdle that rests on the exquisite yellow silk cloth that extends down to his ankles. Purport. The personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all strength, and his strength rests on the thighs of his transcendental body. His whole body is full of opulences, all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. The yogi is advised to meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord, beginning from the soles of the feet, and then gradually rising to the knees, to the thighs, and finally arriving at the face. The system of meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead begins from his feet. The description of the transcendental form of the Lord is exactly represented in the Archa Vigraha, the statue in the temples. Generally, the lower part of the body of the statue of the Lord is covered with yellow silk. That is the Vaikuntha dress, or the dress of the Lord wears, or the dress the Lord wears in the spiritual sky. This cloth extends down to the Lord's ankles. Thus, since the yogi has so many transcendental objectives on which to meditate, there is no reason for his meditating on something imaginary, as is the practice of the so-called yogis whose objective is impersonal. Text 25. The yogi should then meditate on his moon-like navel in the center of his abdomen. From his navel, which is the foundation of the entire universe, sprang the lotus stem containing all the different planetary systems. The lotus is the residence of Brahma, the first created being. In the same way, the yogi should concentrate his mind on the Lord's nipples, which resemble a pair of most exquisite emeralds, and which appear whitish because of the rays of the milk-white pearl necklaces adorning his chest. Purport. The yogi is advised next to meditate upon the navel of the Lord, which is the foundation of all material creation. Just as a child is connected to his mother by the umbilical cord, so the firstborn living creature, Brahma, by the supreme will of the Lord, is connected to the Lord by a lotus stem. In a previous verse, it was stated that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, who engages in massaging the legs, ankles, and thighs of the Lord, is called the mother of Brahma. But actually Brahma is born from the abdomen of the Lord, not from the abdomen of his mother. These are inconceivable conceptions of the Lord, and one should not think materially. How can the father give birth to a child? It is explained in the Brahma Samhita that each limb of the Lord has the potency of every other limb, because everything is spiritual. His parts are not conditioned. The Lord can see with his eyes, see with his ears. The material ear can hear but cannot see. But we understand from Brahma Samhita that the Lord can also see with his ears and hear with his eyes. Any organ of his transcendental body can function as any other organ. His abdomen is the foundation of all the planetary systems. Brahma holds the post of the creator of all planetary systems, but its engineering energy is generated from the abdomen of the Lord. Any creative function in the universe always has a direct connecting link with the Lord. The necklace of pearls which decorate the upper portion of the Lord's body is also spiritual, and therefore the yogi is advised to gaze at the whitish luster of the pearls decorating his chest. Text 26. The yogi should then meditate on the chest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the abode of Goddess Mahalakshmi. The Lord's chest is the source of all transcendental pleasure for the mind and full satisfaction for the eyes. The yogi should then imprint on his mind the neck of the Personality of Godhead, who is adored by the entire universe. The neck of the Lord serves to enhance the beauty of the Kaustuba gem, which hangs on his chest. Purport. In the Upanishads, it is said that the various energies of the Lord are working to create, destroy, and maintain. These inconceivable varieties of energy are stored in the bosom of the Lord. As people generally say, God is all-powerful. That prowess is represented by Mahalakshmi, the reservoir of all energies, who is situated on the bosom of the transcendental form of the Lord. The yogi who can meditate perfectly on that spot, on the transcendental form of the Lord, can derive many material powers which comprise the 8 perfections of the yoga system. It is stated herein that the beauty of the neck of the Lord enhances the beauty of the Kaustuba gem rather than vice versa. The gem itself becomes more beautiful because it is situated on the neck of the Lord. A yogi is therefore recommended to meditate upon the Lord's neck. The Lord's transcendental form can either be meditated upon in the mind or placed in a temple in the form of a statue and decorated in such a way that everyone can contemplate it. Temple worship, therefore, is meant for persons who are not so advanced that they can meditate upon the form of the Lord. There is no difference between constantly visiting the temple and directly seeing the transcendental form of the Lord. They are of equal value. The advantageous position of the yogi is that he can sit anywhere in a solitary place and meditate upon the form of the Lord. The less advanced person, however, has to go to the temple, and as long as he does not go to the temple, he is unable to see the form of the Lord. Either by hearing, seeing, or meditating, the objective is the transcendental form of the Lord. There is no question of voidness or impersonalism. The Lord can bestow the blessings of transcendental pleasure upon either the visitor of the temple, the meditator yogi, or one who hears about the Lord's transcendental form from scriptures like the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad Gita. There are 9 processes for executing devotional service, of which smaranam, or meditation, is one. Yogis take advantage of the process of smaranam, whereas bhakti yogis take special advantage of the process of hearing and chanting. There it is in a nutshell, boys and girls. Text 27. The yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's 4 arms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of material nature. Then the yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments which were burnished by Mount Mandara as it revolved. He should also duly contemplate the Lord's discus, the Sudarshan Chakra, which contains 1,000 spokes and a dazzling luster, as well as the conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. Purport. All departments of law and order emanate from the arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. the law and order of the universe is directed by different demigods, and it is here said to emanate from the Lord's arms. The Mandara hill is mentioned here because when the ocean was churned by the demons on one side and the demigods on the other, Mandara hill was taken as the churning rod. The Lord, in his tortoise incarnation, became the pivot for the churning rod, and thus his ornaments were polished by the turning of Mandara hill. In other words, the ornaments on the arms of the Lord are as brilliant and lustrous as if they had been polished very recently. The wheel in the hand of the Lord, called Sudarshan Chakra, has 1,000 spokes. The yogi is advised to meditate upon each of the spokes. He should meditate upon each and every one of the component parts of the transcendental form of the Lord. And that brings us close to 8 o'clock. We'll go a little bit further. Text 28. The yogi should meditate on his club, which is named Kaumodaki, and is very dear to him. This club smashes the demons, who are always inimical soldiers, and is smeared with their blood. One should also concentrate on the nice garland on the neck of the Lord, which is always surrounded by bumblebees with their nice buzzing sound. And one should meditate upon the pearl necklace on the Lord's neck, which is considered to represent the pure living entities who are always engaged in his service. Purport. The yogi must contemplate the different parts of the transcendental body of the Lord. Here it is stated that the constitutional position of the living entities should be understood. There are two kinds of living entities mentioned here. One is called the arati. They are averse to understanding the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. From them, or for them, rather, the Lord appears with his hand clutching the terrible mace, which is always smeared with blood stains from his killing of demons. Demons are also sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, all the different species of living entities are sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are, however, two classes of living entities who act in two different ways. The Supreme Lord keeps on his neck those living entities who are pure, as one protects the jewels and pearls on the bosom and neck of one's body. Those living entities in pure Krishna consciousness are symbolized by the pearls on his neck. Those who are demons and are inimical towards the pastimes of the personality of Godhead are punished by his mace, which is always smeared with the blood of such fallen living entities. The club of the Lord is very dear to him because he uses this instrument to smash the bodies of the demons and mix their blood. As mud is kneaded with water and earth, so the earthly bodies of the enemies of the Lord, or the atheists, are smashed by the club of the Lord, which becomes muddied with the blood of such demons. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. Believe it or not, it went fast. So we'll start with text 29 tomorrow night. And meantime, we'll wait for the reflections of the assembled devotees on what what we've just heard. Hare Krishna.
First is from Gopakanya Devi Dasi.
Yes, Gopakanya Devi Dasi.
Jai Ho Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada in your daily reading service.
Hare Krishna.
Praying and longing for the Mahaprasad of you, dear Maharaj, that is cooking Bhaya Bhai Prabhuji.
You're getting transcendental intelligence by listening to the Bhagavatam.
Sudevi Dasi says Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Jai Sudevi Dasi, Hare Krishna to you.
And this is from Yam Sanya.
Yam Sanya, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And from Bhakti Noel.
Yes, Bhakti Noel.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I appreciated hearing today how we should humbly meditate on all of the effulgent and potent parts of Lord Krishna. This helps to create a visual in the mind's eye when chanting. Krishna is so merciful that every single part of him is transcendental for the mind and the eyes. How lucky are we? All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for that nice reflection. And I want to remind everyone that it was retold by Prabhupada at least 2 or 3 times in those purports that hearing of the form of the Lord and hearing the pastimes of the Lord is non-different than meditating on them. It's very difficult in the Kali Yuga for anyone to meditate on the form of the Lord like it's described here in these verses of the Bhagavatam. Very difficult. Because in the Kali Yuga, the mental energy is weak. Minds are weak. But we can hear, and that hearing is non-different. So we should continue to hear for a long time, just as it was recommended to meditate on each limb of the Lord for a long time. And we will get the same result. Guaranteed. Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari.
Yes, Rati.
She says, Jai Guru Maharaj, I am hanging on the Transcendental bandwagon once again.
This is so funny. Hare Krishna, thank you.
And this is from Santarupa.
Yes, Shantarupa, from Wales.
All glories to you and all assembled sages.
Well, Hare Krishna, our glories to you as a listener.
And from Bhakta Christopher.
Yes, Bhakta Christopher.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo.
And from Anandamurti.
Hare Krishna Anandamurti.
Dear Guru Maharaj and all the assembled devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for today's reading of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Today I heard how the Muni and Yogi are meditating on the Supreme Lord. Quote, Yogis take advantage of the process of smaranam, whereas Bhakti Yogis take special advantage of the process of hearing and chanting. Unquote. Yesterday, 2 Bhagavad Gita distributed during lunch break, and it was so quickly done, but nectar. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot, Anandamurti, for these wonderful reports of your distributing the Bhagavad Gita on your lunch breaks and after work. It's extremely exemplary what you're doing. Thank you. I'm very proud of you. Hare Krishna.
From Noel.
Yes, Bhakti Noel.
Maharaj, I will plan on hearing for a long time also. Thank you for these daily readings.
Hare Krishna.
And from Subarao.
Yes, Subarao.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your daily readings.
Jai Ho.
One of the highlights is from 3:28-26, quote, "The Lord can bestow the blessings of transcendental pleasure upon either the visitor of the temple, the meditator, yogi, or one who hears about the Lord's transcendental form from scriptures like the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Thank you for keeping us on the track of hearing."
Hare Krishna. It is my pleasure and my life and soul. Thank you very much. That's the essence of this reading tonight. That what we're doing every night, or almost every night, hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Now we're past the lotus feet, the first canto, and we're up to around the thighs or some places in the legs. And we're going on. And this is non-different than meditating on the form of the Lord in meditation. Non-different. Hare Krishna. And if you do this for a long time, means cover to cover, and then start again, cover to cover, start again, cover to cover, and you will be able to meditate or get the benefit of full meditation on the body of the Lord. Hare Krishna. As usual, I'm overwhelmed by these wonderful reflections and the readings themselves. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Samabeda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Go Premanandi. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place, same topic. The unfolding of the process of devotional service to the Lord, spoken by Kapila Dev, the incarnation of the Lord. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.